Short-term rentals and Airbnbs. I have a lot of clients that ask about that. And one of the greatest things ever is that we own short-term rentals, Airbnbs, so I can advise them on it. I've even had my lovely wife, Amanda, talk to our clients about buying short-term investment properties before they even went under contract to make sure they understood what proper expectations to set and how everything works. And that's what we're going to cover here shortly. And I'd like to introduce my wonderful wife, Amanda. She does our back end books and everything for Carolina Mortgage Advisors, but she also runs our rental portfolio. So, how did we end up in the short term rental? This is our best short term rental property. It was one that we got most recently, and it is an oceanfront property here at Oak Island.
Well, I can tell you it was a journey, that's for sure. You were there. Um, we started in about 2017 in this investment property journey. We started out with one condo and then we grew it from there. So we actually started with long-term rentals and then ventured into the short-term rentals. We also started with long-term rentals, and then we ended up buying a beach house to try to do Airbnb. A lot of life lessons there. You have to make sure you're buying the right property to attract the right clientele, and then also making sure that you have good equity in that property. So what ended up happening is we took that townhouse beach house, took the equity out of it, and then ended up going out and buying two more properties, one of which is our nest egg property. And then we also bought another long-term rental property that is in Clayton. So with that experience, we did very well with nest eggs. So that's how we ended up here. So within a year, our nest egg property had so much profits that we were like, let's just do it again. So in 2022, we ended up coming back to Oak Island and finding this beautiful property. And this is our most prosperous property that we have. As you can tell, it is oceanfront, and it does attract a larger rental audience, and then also a larger clientele that respects our properties. That's a lot of things to consider when you're looking at all of your investment properties. And so what we do is now we have 5 rental properties. Yes, I know I manage them, but sometimes it gets too much. But we have them on different management systems, and then I also manage now the long-term rentals. So we started this process in 2017 and did some moving around of the properties. Like we sold 2 properties, but then we ended up buying 3 properties. So it's almost like a game of chess. Like which way do you move to make sure that you're going to win? And sometimes you don't. But as far as we're at right now, we're doing pretty well, I would say. Like we have these beautiful properties and we're able to come down to like spring break and bring our kids. And the nice thing about it is that all these properties are paid for by our renters, our wonderful clients that come and enjoy this house, but also are very generous in, staying at our properties.
So, I mean, ultimately, you are investing in an appreciating asset. That's why there are so many property investors out there. That's why if you look up stats for some of the wealthiest people in America and the world that are got there by real estate, it's not all 100% risk free. There is risk involved. You have to be smart with doing it. We have management companies that assist us with the properties here. We have management companies for the long-term properties in Wilmington because we're 2.5 hours away. And you just have to factor in all these into your overall cost. And a lot of people are anti-debt. I am anti-debt when it comes to credit card debt. I am anti-debt when it comes to buying a car that costs you $1,600 a month because guess what? That's a depreciating asset. I love mortgage debt. I'll be real direct. We have millions of dollars in mortgage debt, but it's on an appreciating asset. We're using other people's money to leverage our future and our children's future. That's why they call it generational wealth. So you got to look at, of course, interest rates, got to factor in taxes, insurance, everything like that. But it is an appreciating asset, and it does set you up for long-term ROI on everything. And that's the way we look at it. We're self-employed. We're small business owners. So I can start a 401k and IRA, but I don't have a pension plan like a lot of people are blessed to have. This is how I look at my pension plan. And that's what we really enjoy teaching our clients, because I've learned from clients. That's how we got into this, is seeing what clients that I originally worked with were doing to get this additional revenue stream. Because it's very rare, not very rare, but it's more common to see the rental market, rental properties, as kind of a secondary job, not necessarily a side hustle because you have to be all in on it, than somebody that is just a full-time investor. They exist. They have hundreds of doors that they rent out. That truly is a full-time job. You get employees, but this is a great way to supplement income and leverage your money. Yes, you can get great ROI in the stock market and everything like this, but what you're doing is, like I said, I'm going to keep saying it over and over, buying an appreciating asset. And the best part is, the longer you hold that asset, your value goes up, your mortgage balance goes down. So that means your profit margins continue to rise. And if you have any questions on this, like I said, we're open books. We've advised our clients. Amanda has, when I had a client that was actually buying on this very island, and they love it. We have realtors that are also property investors, or realtors that advise property investors. Some of them even own management companies. So it's just surrounding yourself with the right individuals that are experts in their field.
And also, you can always look at like what is a good investment. So when we look at a property, I always do a rundown. I have a little sheet, and then I look at like what the estimated rental value is, and then I look at our bills. And if we're not making at least 10 to 20% on our properties, then I don't hold them. We get rid of them. And that's what we did with the two properties that I was mentioning earlier that we sold, and then we took those profits and bought properties that were actually going to turn a bigger profit for us. So you also have to look at your numbers, get guidance from experts, get guidance from friends, and then do what the numbers say. Like if it's a good deal, you should do it.